All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tea with Doug G. If you don't know me, my name is Doug Goodin, and for the first time, I have a guest on who has the exact same name as me. Well, not exactly the same, but yeah. Special welcome to my wonderful guest this evening, my parents, Doug and Heidi Goodin. Yeah. Well, hey y'all. Molly, this is your first time, or excuse me, this is your second time being on the show. And Dave, this is your first time being on the show. So why don't y'all take just a second, introduce yourselves, tell the folks who you are, what you do, all that jazz. The floor is yours.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Doug's dad. Doug.
Doug Senior, Big Doug, Doug the First.
It is me.
So what do you do?
What I do? I work.
Where do you work?
I'm an appraiser at the tax assessor's office in Sumter County, Georgia. The assistant chief appraiser.
All right. And I am Heidi Goodin. I'm Doug's mom. And I am the STEM coordinator and instructional technology specialist at Chattahoochee Flint RESA. I love education. So it's been my passion for 28 years. This fella beside me has been my passion for 29 years today. So that's us. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank y'all both for being on. Sorry I couldn't be with y'all tonight. I just had to wrap up a few things here in Athens before I came home for Christmas. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so first things first. This is y'all's 29th anniversary, and I want to know what is something that, as soon as y'all got married, as soon as y'all started living with each other, what was something that really surprised you about your spouse after you got married? Either one of y'all can take it first, but yeah.
So your daddy probably needs to answer this, because your dad, before we got married, had never lived anywhere but one house, and that was 116 Linview Drive.
Okay. Well, thank you for throwing out that address.
And so
National landmark.
He had only lived there, and so when we got married, he moved in after we got married to our first little apartment. It was probably a huge difference from going from his homestead to our little apartment. But what was something that surprised you about me?
I don't know. The hardest part was the cooking was different.
Yes, the cooking was very different because, as you know, my mother-in-law, Miss Marilyn Goodin, Mimi, can cook so much better than I could ever even try to cook. She
definitely a different style of cooking.
Yes. She is so much like Paula Deen, and she loves to bake and she loves to make things, and she sews beautifully. She just yeah, so that was a lot different because I can make spaghetti, and so we had a lot of spaghetti. We still have spaghetti probably once a week. Yeah,
it's great spaghetti though.
Great spaghetti. I can make spaghetti.
I can't go ahead.
I can't make biscuits or things like that, but I can make spaghetti. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, after 29 years, I mean, obviously, like, y'all had to change, ebb and flow in various ways. So my question is, how do you find ways, or how do you still manage to surprise each other even after 29 years of marriage?
Let's see. I think that we surprise each other now by getting ideas from our two wonderful children. So I know that there have been some times that y'all have given us some great ideas how to surprise one another. And that's just such a blessing. What do you think? How do you still surprise me? How do you still surprise me?
I get up in the morning.
He gets up.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, he does.
The ratings are going up.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. Yeah, well, y'all certainly, your sense of humor at least has not changed over 29 years, or at least the 22 years that I've been in existence. But yeah. So, I love the fact that you brought up parenting both me and Glory Grace. So I am kind of curious about this. One of the questions that we got is in terms of parenting. Is there a good cop or a bad cop in the relationship in the household? And if so, who is who? What necessarily leads you down those roles or those roads?
So go ahead and say it.
He always says, I'm the good cop because I'll give y'all whatever y'all want. And she has to be the bad cop. But I think I'm the bad cop some too. I think we do it both ways.
I definitely think that I'm the bad cop. And Gloria Grace actually poked her head in the door just then and said, Mama's the bad cop. But I do think it just takes a team effort. And there are some times, when I think back on different times when we might have had to have some punishment for my lovely children. They didn't need it a lot, but there were some days that they needed it.
Well, I mean, Glory Grace and I have learned over the years how to test y'all just a little bit.
And so I think we do balance each other out. I do. I think that. What do you think? Who do you think is the good cop and the bad cop?
I mean, it's very different things. Mama is very direct. Like if she is upset or if she is disappointed in something, she will be very direct with you. Daddy, on the other hand, you understand how like my mind works, so you know how to like get to me. Like if you need to make a point, you know how to make your point without saying a whole lot. Like Ben brought up a great point in the chat. He said Miss Heidi will get you with that glare, and that's accurate. But like, Day, I think you've figured out how to like, you've got that look of like not mad, just disappointed, like just do better. So I mean, I think you, at least for me, you know how to like dig into me more. Like you know how to make me feel much more sorry for what I did. But yeah, I mean, I think y'all are a pretty even mix of the two. But yeah. Well, okay, so this question has my name on it, but I can add on Glory Grace in this. So what would you say, if you could sum it up in a matter of words, what was it like when kids came into the mix? Like, what was it like raising Glory Grace and I? The question does have my name in it though, but what is child rearing added to your relationship or taken away from in some cases?
So if you can do the math, you know that we were married 7 years before we were blessed with our children. And so we definitely had those 7 years to really grow together. We really grew together those first 7 years. And we had trials and we had, some hard times. But when you and Gloria Grace when y'all came into the mix, it really, you just were such a blessing. And like Tanya Barrett has already said in the chat, Gloria Grace has her daddy wrapped around her finger for sure. And we give him a hard time about being the good cop and being all wrapped with Gloria Grace. And Gloria Grace gives me a hard time about saying that I let you do things too. But I just think that both of y'all have been such a blessing, just a blessing. You were just such gifts that, if you would have asked a couple of people in the medical profession, if we were ever going to have children, they would have said no. And so I just really think that y'all are blessings. And do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, both of y'all are a blessing, and both of y'all have brought so much joy to us. I mean, it's not a burden to raise. It wasn't a burden, and it's still not a burden to raise either one of you.
And it's fun. We have a good time with you guys.
Well, we have fun with y'all.
I love it. I do get really, really sad when we four can't be together. And I love it when we can be together. And so I just love the four of us. I think we're a pretty awesome little team when we're together. And so even when it doesn't matter where we are, we could be in Athens, or we could be in Atlanta, or we could be wherever. But we have a neat little team. And so I'm just very, very, very thankful for my little Doug and my little Gigi. So
we the four of us, we know how to have a good time.
Yes, definitely.
And we're very good at it.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that, your daddy and I also are praying for your spouses. We don't know who they will be, but we're praying for them. And we know that they're going to be such a blessing and fit right in the mix. So we don't know who they are or where they are or when they'll be coming into our lives, but we're praying for them still the same. And we know that they're going to be a great little fix a great little fit in our mix, our crazy little Goodin mix that we have going on. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
There you go.
It's the single greatest name to have when marketing anything. But yeah. Okay, so I really like the fact that you brought up, one day when Gloria Grace and I find spouses and get into relationships. But y'all have been at the relationship game for a hot minute. So relationships are never always easy or always difficult. So one of the questions that we got, it actually came from Ben. Ben wanted to know, what advice would you give to young couples who are just starting out and who are learning the struggles of maintaining a relationship?
Okay.
Well, you have to work at it, and you have to give on both sides. You can't just be a one-sided relationship. You can't always expect the other person to want their way and get their way. The other person has to give a little. It has to be a 50-50 mix. You may not always agree with each other, but you're going to have to give some of the other for the other.
Yeah. And if I could say anything, when we got married, we had a little video of our wedding, and somebody made the comment, I believe it was Miss Josephine Hart, JoJo, Miss K-Ring Strange's mama, who we love and adore. But she said, when we got married, she said, don't ever go to bed angry. And so there, of course, there have been some nights that we've had some discussions, but you work them out and you make the best of it. And you just have to both give and take. It's not easy. It's not always fun and games. And it's not always just peaches and cream or unicorns and rainbows. It's not always, fun. but you just work at it, and
you can't quit on each other. You gotta just the first little bump. You can't quit.
Yeah, you can't quit on each other.
A relationship is a commitment for the long haul. It's not an in and an out or here today, gone tomorrow type thing. A true relationship's forever, and so you got to work at it. And in a relationship, your spouse is your best friend. You know, they got your back no matter what, and you got their back no matter what. So you have to work at it that way.
Yeah.
Yep, that is right. You just have to work at it, and I'm so glad. You know, I have some really great friends, but I'm so glad that my best friend is always with me, and I can call him. It doesn't matter. You know, there have been some times that I've found myself in some strange predicaments, and the first person I reach for is my big Doug, because he is my best friend, and I'm so thankful for him being my best friend. So it's a pretty awesome thing. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's an awesome answer. Okay, so kind of shifting just a little bit, because you know you both are so committed to each other all the time, 24/7. However, you both also have interests that differ from each other very widely. For instance, Mama and I, we adore Star Wars, and Day is still trying to figure out where he went wrong. Or Day and I love Smokey and the Bandit, and Mama does not care for it. But something I love about each of you is you each have these kind of side hustles that you do in addition to your regular work, and they really are kind of like your places where y'all just go to have a good time. So if y'all could just, how did you both kind of start on this side hustle thing, or like where did you find interest in that? Either one of y'all can go first, and please tell us what your side hustles are.
You want to go first?
Yeah, well, I've always loved sports, and when your mother started teaching at America's High, she was soon appointed the role of cheerleading coach, which meant that I had to partake in. I didn't have to, but I chose to be with her, partake in all the sports that the cheerleaders were involved in, which was football and basketball.
And competition, the best part.
Yeah, and competition cheerleading. But I do not judge competition cheerleading. Don't know a bit from a cartwheel. Couldn't tell you that. But anyway, when she started that, that's how I got involved. I do the color or the co-commentating for the America Sumter football team. Been doing it for over 20 years now. I also do the basketball games when they get into the playoffs for them. Also, at the same time, they decided, well, we kind of got bored just sitting there watching the games every day. So they, at the home games, they asked me to keep the scoreboard and keep up with the clock and all that. And then, so that's how I got involved in the high school basketball. And the football, we did the PA just like we did when we do the road games. I had to go to the road games anyway, except then once I got picked up by the radio station, I no longer had to ride the cheese. I had to ride in the car to the football game. But it's been fun. Been doing that for over 20 years. And then when South Georgia Tech in 2001, South Georgia Technical College brought back the basketball program. And Coach Chris Wade and Stephen Wright were the first two coaches. And because they've been the coaches over at the high school, they said, hey, we got a new gig for you. So I started with them. And at the same time, Georgia Southwestern needed some people to help them with their basketball team. So for over 20 years now, I've been working with Georgia Southwestern and South Georgia Tech doing their basketball games. So I see a lot of basketball, but I've always enjoyed basketball and football. I tried to play both of them. Not very good at either one of them, but I tried.
And, hey, same.
Okay, he was good at football. Nah. He actually played when Southwestern had a team, And when he played in high school, they actually won a state championship. So he was good at football. And I do love his stories about playing football, even though I kind of cringe because, I can't stand for people to get hurt. But anyway.
All right, talk about your side hustle.
Okay, so my side hustle is definitely cheerleading. I love competitive cheerleading, especially. I coached cheerleading for 10 years, and I've been with Georgia High School cheerleading for 27 years. This is actually my 28th season. And so it is just, I have a wonderful group of judges that I've worked with for years. We've seen each other. Well, I was already married, but I've seen them all get married. I've seen, they've seen children be born. I've seen their children be born. We've gone through loss of family members. I mean, we're pretty thick group. Our group and with Middle Georgia, and I love judging. I love it. It's just I have a great time judging competitive cheerleading. I still get to go see what awesome and amazing things these athletes are doing, but I don't have to spend those hours coaching. And those hours coaching can be very, very, very long. My heart goes out to coaches because people don't realize what all coaches do. They're amazing. Coaches of any sport, basketball, football, cheerleading, any sport, wrestling, coaches live a very strenuous life. And so I love my cheerleading.
What's your other hustle?
Oh, my other hustle was driver's ed.
Yep.
So, it was driver's ed. And I taught driver's ed for over 20 years, in addition to teaching other things. And so I have taught.
She's still teaching driver's ed every
yes,
time I get in the car.
Every time Doug gets in the car.
Every time I get in the car. Every time Gloria Grace gets in the car. Although Gloria Grace doesn't have a license yet, so she has no excuse.
Yeah.
Well, she has her learner's license, but.
Yeah, and she'll have her driver's license in January. I can't believe that. But so driver's ed, I haven't actually taught driver's ed since I've been at RESA. But I did love teaching driver's ed. I will tell you though, it gave me a lot of gray hair. Like a lot of my gray hair came from drivers in South Georgia.
Question: Did I attribute to any of those gray hairs specifically from driver's ed?
Most definitely did. Doug Goodin most definitely gave me some gray hair with the driver's ed, being his driver's ed teacher. So yes, most definitely. But and that's another thing. We both know that sometimes we want to do things with our family, and we want to do things as a family, and so we like those little side hustles. We like those side hustles. And
go ahead.
So I just saw that Ben said, I absolutely believe that. Yes, Ben. Doug gave me my gray hair, so yes, he did.
She can use either one of us for that.
Yes, big or little, they both.
Yeah. Okay, so I love the fact that you brought up the fact that we do a lot of these things as a family. So how has that been? Because I mean, over the years, I've taken up doing scoreboard with Day, did all through high school, did a little bit, have done it up until this year, every year during Christmas. Gloria Grace has taken up doing basketball, and she also helps Mama out with cheerleading. So I mean, how has that been to see it really become like a family venture?
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love when we can all be together. I just love it. And sporting events, I mean, just when we're together, church, just anything that we do together, I just absolutely love it. And, we just grow our passions. And I think for all four of us, our number one passion is our, we put God first. We put our our relationship with Jesus Christ. And then we thank God for the blessing of our family. And I'm just so thankful for our family. And I love, 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 love that we get to do things together. And so we do get to work on the basketball books and the scoreboards and the football games, and we get to go to the cheerleading competitions together. Your daddy has just been a saint when it comes to driving to cheerleading competitions. He still does that. And so it's just, and it's such a fun time for us all to be together. And I think we've got some really great memories from some of those trips that we have taken, doing either basketball, football, or cheerleading together. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. As you see, she said you gave her some gray hair. I had hair when we got married.
And
so moving on to the next question.
I probably kind of contributed to him losing a few hairs too. Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh. All right. So going on to our next question here. So everyone enters a relationship with expectations. How have your expectations for each other and for the relationship as a whole changed over the years since y'all have been since y'all started dating and since you've been married? How has that changed for you?
Ooh, I married out of my league.
Married out of your league.
I mean, I upgraded.
You're crazy. He did not. So
what do you mean? I did.
So I think that whenever we have had expectations, we've just worked at it. And like when it was important for me to go back to get another degree, we worked on it, and we worked together to do it. When it was important for your daddy, when he got his real estate license, we worked on it together. And then of course, when he went to work for the tax assessor's office, we worked on things together, and we were just
you have to do it together. It has to be a together thing. It can't be a one side. Like we said earlier, it can't be one side. You got to work at it together. You have to make sacrifices. She had to eat my cooking when she went back to school.
Yes. But he cooks so well now until it's wonderful. So, it's wonderful. Yeah. I have to laugh because Aunt Paige said, yes, he did. I don't know what that means.
What is it reference to?
She's so bad. So bad. Yeah.
But we do things. We take time to do things as a family, and we take time, but most of all, we take time to, we go to church and we do things, and you have to put God first in everything you do. You can't, without Him, it's not going to work. And,
that's right.
You got to have Him in your life, and we've tried to instill that in both you and Glory Grace. The world's got a lot of things out there that will entice you, but it's not going to work. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
He has the plan. He has the plan. And we just pray that we are in His will when we're going through this life. And it's just like Mom always says, if you stay underneath the umbrella, you won't get rained on. But once you get out from underneath the umbrella, you're going to get rained on. So, we just have to, and there have been some times that we've been rained on, but we just have to remember to put God first in everything. So, yeah.
Would I do it again? Yeah, I'd do it again. Would I do some things different after I got married? Yeah, I'd make some better choices. I haven't always made the best choices, but I did when I chose my spouse, my wife.
Yep, that's right.
So, okay. So we focused a lot on what
What do we know? What do we know annoy you the most? Or
again.
what do we annoy you the most? What annoys us about you the most?
What annoys you the most about us?
That's actually a great question. Okay.
Fair to that.
So it's not necessarily annoying or anything like that, but I find it so funny that anyone who is friends with me on social media at all, anyone who is friends with me knows that if I mention you or I talk about you or I post a picture with you on Facebook or anything like that, my mother is going to friend request you like that. Always. And it's not annoying. It's just funny because every now and then I'll get a text from someone being like, why is your mom friend requesting me?
Because I want your friends to be my friends. I want to know who your friends are. Just like I just want to know who they are.
Remember, I told you about social media.
Yeah. That's why your daddy doesn't do it. I have to say this. I love what Tanya Barrett said. She said, unmet expectations is probably every couple's biggest challenge, but with God, all things are possible. And I love that. Amen. Yes, that is right.
Yeah.
And even your friends. There you go.
Yeah.
Even your friends. There you go.
Tristan Webb backed me up on the fact that he was curious about the fact that you sent him a friend request.
Tristan, I just wanted to know more about you. So
oh my God.
Too. There you go.
Oh man. Hey, I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head that maybe annoys me about you. I don't know. I think we honestly have a very similar sense of humor. And every time that you make a joke that I would have made, I think it's just like, that wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. But he tried it out, so I didn't have to try it out. So it's all good.
And I don't get your jokes sometimes, either one of y'all. So
I'm well aware of that fact.
Sometimes I don't get those jokes. Okay.
Well, hopping off of that question that was sprung on me, what annoys you the most about your partner? If you had anything, I feel like after 29 years, this is something that you have a right to say.
Okay, I will let you go first.
Why do I get to be put on?
So I know what annoys him about me is I'm a very good person to tell people to do things that
we do a lot of things in this house. When she starts off, we'll do this, it usually winds up me do this.
And I know that annoys him. I do try.
But we take credit for what me did.
I wanna point something out real quick because in response to what annoys you most about your partner, your sister Paige Long brought up that she would be willing to offer assistance.
Oh, she's always trying to offer assistance when it comes to me.
Now, I'm telling you, that would be an interesting show to have Paige and Doug on there. They love each other.
I once dressed up just like her to go to a Halloween party, and she was not amused with it.
He dressed up just like Aunt Paige. Long blonde hair and everything, and a big giraffe pin. There you go.
I do think one of the funniest things about y'all is that you have very specific things that you like. And occasionally, like, no force on earth can stop you from getting these things that you like. Mama loves to buy jewelry and will buy it on a whim. Day, on the other hand, loves tennis shoes and pens, and he used to love sunglasses. I think he's phased out of the sunglass era. But I think it's very funny that you both have these very specific things that you are so impulsive about. Um, yeah, Mama. Honestly, I thought when I asked,
Yeah, that's right.
what'd you say?
I said that's why we have to have side hustles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mama. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say I'm kind of surprised that you didn't mention purchasing a red Jeep um, while
Well,
you were at state cheerleading competition.
and so that is one of those things that, you have to not go to bed when you're angry. And so
No, but it comes up at every family function.
your daddy was very smart or conniving in the way that he did that, because
That's a small word change that changes a lot about this sentence.
I was away from town for 3 days at a state cheerleading meet, and we had talked about getting a Jeep, and I was just like, no, we don't need a Jeep. We don't need a Jeep. And then all of a sudden, the Thursday night that I was gone, he said, I bought a Jeep. And so he gave me 2 other days to get over it before I got home. So, yeah. But we have that red Jeep. And I think
it's a nice Jeep.
I'm still driving the Jeep.
Yeah.
It's a very nice Jeep.
He loves the red Jeep. You drove the red Jeep. Gloria Grace wants to drive the red Jeep. So the Jeep has been driven. Yes. And my sweet friend, Me Waters, always said, Heidi, you're going to love the Jeep. And when we took the Jeep to the beach, we really did have a great time at the beach with the Jeep. But anyway, enough about the Jeep. We do have the Jeep.
Dad, did you have any responses to this question?
Nope.
All right. Sweet. Sweet. Well, I'll go to a question that I'm pretty sure you can answer. So what would you say do you find most charming about each other?
You go first.
Okay. What I love about your daddy is his calming nature. And I also love his beautiful blue eyes, and his receding hairline.
Wait a minute now, my eyes are blue.
I do love that. I do love that. They are.
No,
they're bluish green. They are.
My driver's license says they're hazel. Haze.
Well, they're bluish green.
Okay.
And I love looking into them. But I love his calming nature because, I can get a little worked up. I know that's hard for y'all to believe, but I can get a little worked up sometimes. And I love it that he can calm me down, because there have been some times that, and there have been some times that I've been worked up about something, and I'll call your daddy, and your daddy can, calm the situation. He can calm the storm. And that is such a wonderful attribution that he has. And he always, he always reminds me, well, we're going to pray about that. We're going to pray about it. And, because, even though I know that worry is of Satan, I am the world's worst worrier. And so he's reminded me time after time over the years, well, we're going to pray about that. So, yeah, I think he's the calm part of the relationship. So, what do you think?
Well, it's her drive and to please others. She always wants to please others. It doesn't matter if it's in her capable powers of doing, she's going to try to do it to please others, and she always tries to.
Mm-hmm.
She has that drive. She'll go till she can't go any further, and then she'll just crash. But she has that drive and that spirit that makes it interesting to get up in the morning. Makes it exciting to get up in the morning. It's a new day.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So
Here.
You like my gray hair? I'm trying to turn it white. So
Better white than none at all.
okay, so we're kind of winding down here. And one thing I know is very important in y'all's relationship. I know it's very important to Mama, just in and of itself, but we're a very musically focused family. We all love music. We all have. Say that again.
Some of you are.
no, your daddy really can sing very well. He just is a little shy when it comes to singing, but he really can sing very well. And he turned me on to a new song by Darius Rucker on what God wants for Christmas. And if you haven't heard that song, you need to hear it. It is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, so the question we have here is, if there were to be a mixtape or a playlist to y'all's marriage, to y'all's relationship, what would be the first 5 songs on that mixtape or on that playlist?
Okay, well, number 1 would be Stephen Curtis Chapman's The Great Adventure. This is The Great Adventure.
I agree with that.
Number 2 is I Will Be Here, and that's actually the song that I sang to him when we got married. That's also Stephen Curtis Chapman's song. I Will Be Here. Number 3 would have to be, I would say Friends.
Yeah.
Michael W. Smith's Friends. Yep, I would say Friends. Number 4 would be Don't Stop Believing, because even when people told us that we couldn't have children, or people told us that we couldn't do one thing or another, through God, we were able to have those things. And so don't stop believing. Always believe. I know that Journey had a different message with Don't Stop Believing, but I do think Don't Stop Believing. And I think the 5th song would have to be Jesus Never Fails. And so would you agree with that?
I agree.
Because Satan tries to get in our lives all the time. And I have to always remember that you might as well get thee behind me, Satan. You cannot prevail, because Jesus never fails. And we're going to have Jesus as number 1 in our life. And then God is not going to fail our family. Yeah. So that's my top 5. That's my top 5. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right. So do you remember what they were?
So,
Doug.
Not in order, but Friends, Jesus Never Fails, Don't Stop Believing, I Will Be Here, and The Great Adventure.
Yes, because this is The Great Adventure.
Good Lord. All right. So again, got 2 more questions for us. And first things first, Tristan Webb, he asked this and he is dying to know. So y'all actually didn't meet in high school, correct?
Well,
we did.
We did meet in high school.
We knew each other. We grew up in the same town. We knew each other. We didn't date.
We did not date in high school. He dated one of my really good friends. And he says that I danced with him at a dance that they were at, but I don't remember that. I don't remember dancing with him.
Well, since y'all didn't really start dating until y'all got into college, Tristan was wanting to know, what are some of your favorite moments from when you started dating, or from really early on in the relationship, if you could pin it down?
Let me tell you about the first date we went on. We went with several other couples to the local, to the Applebee's. Well, your mother got up to go to the restroom with another lady. When the waitress came by, being college students, we told them it was their birthdays because you got a free dessert.
It was not my birthday.
So when the waitresses came over and started singing, they kept going, it's not our birthday. And we kept tapping them on the leg, just be quiet, because we were getting a dessert out of the deal.
And I said, it's not my birthday. It was terrible. That was terrible.
And then we went to see Days of Thunder.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. There you go. So I do love, so our college lives, as you both know, I was in a sorority, he was in a fraternity. And we actually went out on a date on that first date because some of his fraternity brothers that I went to high school with, they were like, you need to go out with her. He was actually another sorority sweetheart. And so when he found out I was in the other sorority, I was like, he won't ever go out with me, but he did. And so the Sigma Chi house is actually the first place that we he kind of asked me out. On the swing was the first place that he ever told me he loved me, was at the Sigma Chi house on the swing. And at the Sigma Chi house on the swing was where he asked me to marry him. So, and we were the only people at the Sigma Chi house that night when he asked me to marry him. And everybody else was out at a dance at the fairgrounds. They had a band party at the fairgrounds. So we had to actually leave the Sigma Chi house to go tell everybody that we were engaged somewhere else. So those are some of our fondest memories. And, you know, he was also treed because he was lavaliered. And so those are interesting pictures. I think Gloria Grace found one of those pictures recently.
I have seen those pictures.
Yeah. And so that was interesting. So, yep. But, you know, we were both still in college when we actually got married too. So we only dated for 18 months and got married. And so we actually were both still in college when we got married. And so, you know, the struggle was real. We were struggling college students, but we made it and it's gone pretty good.
Yeah.
We've had fun.
The next 20 years are going to be just as fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, that kind of brings us to a question that I think will be a nice wrap up. And I actually don't have it written down, but going forward, well, I kind of have it written down. So from the moment y'all were married until now, what is the biggest takeaway that you've gotten from this first 29 years and looking forward to the next 29 years? Was something that you hope to continue to accomplish? Was something that you hope to continue to do? What is your goal for the next 29 years of marriage?
Well, I want him to always be my best friend.
Well, I mean, as the world changes around it, I know there's one constant in the world, and that's your mother. That's Heidi. I mean, she's not going to change. She's not going to waver, and the world around us is going to continue to change, and we've just got to be strong together, not only for she and I, but for you and Gloria Grace and your families or whatever happens in your lives. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And
we need to be we need to be a point of reference that you can come to, and you know, always remember that God's the most important thing, but your family, you can't, you know, you can change your friends, but you can't change your family. They're there.
And that's what we do want to keep constant. We want it to always be that you can, you know, come home anytime and no matter what, we'll always be there for you. So
yeah.
I think that it's still a great adventure and I can't wait to see what's in store. I know it's going to be an exciting ride.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for coming on tonight. Thank you everyone for watching. Goodness, this chat has been incredible. It's been awesome to see everyone who's been tuning in. And also, as we wrap up this show, just want to say thank you to everyone who has tuned in to Tea with Doug G. Mama, thank you for always blowing up the chat. It's always fun to see. Just a heads up for everyone, this is going to be our last episode for 2020. I'm going to take a couple weeks off just to have a little bit of a break, but I will be back after the start of the new year, and I cannot think of a better way to wrap up this year. Yeah, well, thank y'all so much for being on. Y'all have a good time tonight.
We did.
We want to wish everyone a very safe and very Merry Christmas.
Very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2021. Yeah. It's going to be better. 2021. It's going to be a better year.
Absolutely.
Graduate from college. Woo!
Yeah, that's not terrifying at all. But yeah, we're going to do the thing. Well, look, again, thank y'all so much for being on. Thank you all for watching and for tuning in. For all us here at Tea with Doug G, I'm Doug Goodin. That's Doug Goodin, and that's Heidi Goodin. And this has been the Tea. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a lovely evening, a very Merry Christmas, and a very Happy New Year. Bye.
Merry Christmas!